Welcome into the Todd Bowles Show. Casey Phillips here with head coach Todd Bowles. Tough one against the Lions. Tell me just big picture overall takeaways. There were some definite highs and lows of that one for sure.
Big picture was a lot of fight, a lot of effort, too many mistakes, too many small things. We didn't do all the little things right. We got behind the 8 ball too many times on third down offensively. Defensively, the first drive, I thought we missed 2 tackles that set them up, and we misfit the run that let them get out for the 78-yard touchdown. And a lot of fight, but again, too many small things. And going into a place like that to play against a team with that talent, you can't make those mistakes.
Yeah, and I know losing Mike definitely didn't help, but overall just the emotions of that, the high of getting him back and the excitement of that, and then to lose him again in that same game. What were the emotions of that and how that affected the game, both from, again, kind of the mental side, but then also the game plan side?
Well, it was tough just seeing the man, he did so much just to get back out there, and then for him to go and try to make a big play and then get hurt on that play. And that the emotions when you see somebody like that, knowing who he is and what he's accomplished in his career and what he's done for our team and for each person in that locker room is just tough to see. And the guys fought after that. We just made too many mistakes.
And I know we're recording this pretty early Tuesday morning, so what do you know about Mike's health at this point?
He has a broken clavicle right now. He'll be out most of the year, toward the end of the year. If we can get to the playoffs and make a little run, we'll see if we can get him back.
I know you guys finished with 251 yards, but at halftime there were only 58. What was the struggle offensively, especially early in the game? After last couple weeks, it had looked like the faster starts were becoming a bit more routine.
Kind of had trouble running the football early, and we had trouble converting on third downs. We couldn't stay on the field. They were getting us off the field pretty good with some coverage sacks, and we couldn't get established in the run game.
I know Baker having to throw 50 times isn't always the ideal plan. How much was that just being behind? How much was that what you were seeing about what was and wasn't working in the run game, and what all went into him having to throw so many times?
We weren't behind that much. I mean, at halftime it was like 14-3, so we could have ran the ball a little bit more and got things going, but we weren't getting much when we did run, and we can't get our quarterback hit that many times when he does throw that many times.
I know a bit of a lower completion rate than usual for him, especially a couple games he's only had, maybe 3 or 4 incompletions, and it just felt like the completion rate was a little lower, and that just some misconnections, especially I can think of a few with him and Emeka. What seemed to not be working as well efficiency-wise in Baker's game?
Well, it was an off night. The connection between him and Emeka didn't practice all week as well, and then he was not all the way 100% there, so we were going with half a deck there, but at the same time, we got to make plays. We got to find different ways to make plays. We got to coach it better. We definitely got to play it better.
I know Tez now has a touchdown in back-to-back games. Tell me what stood out about that play in particular for him.
He's growing. Well, he's a heck of an athlete when he gets the ball in space. He got the screen play. He can make a couple people miss. He's very elusive that way, and he found the end zone.
Knowing now, again, just kind of the injury situation in your wide receiver room, is he going to be asked to maybe even do more, or is what we've seen these last couple weeks, is this kind of the role that you need him to play moving forward?
Yeah, it is. I mean, he's been doing more the last 2 weeks, and as he gets comfortable with the offense, we understand where he's going to be. He gets a good understanding of how Baker is going to be, and he knows where to go with the ball. And the more he plays, the smarter he gets within the offense, and the better he'll be.
And then I know Baker took a few sacks. Now, none of them were from Aiden Hutchinson, which is probably not how we would have gambled that would have happened. But overall, how did you feel about the pass protection and then facing a guy like Aiden Hutchinson, who we had seen last year in that matchup, how much he can wreck a game?
There were some games they had that got him off his spot, but really we had some protection, and when there wasn't anybody open down the field at times, and he had to hold the ball and move out of the pocket and get moving. So when you have to keep the tight end in the back end to help out in protection, it's tough to get 3 guys open when they got about 5 or 6 back there covering.
It's going to be fascinating if there's ever a game where the offensive line is the same as it was the week before completely. But getting Mike Jordan back into the lineup after he had been banged up a bit, what did you see of what he provides in that right guard spot?
Well, Mike is key in pass protection. He got a lot better in the run game. For him to be out as long as he hasn't come back, he was a big plus for us.
I know we talked a bit about how maybe you guys could have run the ball a little bit more. We saw Rashad had 10 carries for 38 yards. What did and didn't work well whenever he was able to get the ball?
Well, we didn't stick with it. We couldn't get a groove going and the offensive flow going as far as the play calling was concerned, and we got behind the 8 ball a few times with a few penalties, but we got to stick with it no matter what. We got to make sure we get those 50-plus passes down.
And what did you see from the offensive line in the run game in particular?
They fought. I mean, they were hitting. Detroit was bringing one more than we could actually block. And, you know, sometimes the back has to make a miss. Sometimes they make good plays. But that was a good defense we played, and you got to give them credit.
And do you feel like just giving them kind of credit on the third down side? I know 4 of 16, not necessarily the third down conversion rate you're hoping for on offense. Was it more about what the third down situation was in terms of, you know, third and longs, or was it execution? What did you see in that area?
We didn't execute, but they did a good job. I mean, they really did a good job plastering receivers, and we tried to chip and keep guys in more, but they did a good job of matching up the routes and kind of game planning us and scouting us, so we got to do a better job.
I know Cade had some tough calls go against him. It felt like all the most controversial plays of the game were with Cade involved, but they were also happening while he was playing very tough. He was definitely our leading receiver, 7 catches, 65 yards. What did you see from his game?
Well, he started about a week ago. He's continuing to pick up where he left off at, and the more receivers get hurt, the more his play picks up. But Cade's capable of doing that. Very good receiver, very underrated receiver, and he helps us a great deal.
Yeah, over the last 3 games, he has 16 receptions for 197 yards, which is the second most receiving yards by a tight end during those weeks. Do you see him needing to step up even more in the receiving route because of the wide receivers going down, kind of similar to last year? How are you also still now needing him to be helping from an offensive line standpoint, and the way that that's sort of a tug-of-war game with him?
Cade can do both. I mean, as the receivers go down, his production picks up, but it can pick up when they're healthy as well. And he still does it great in the run game. He blocks, he chips, he does everything from a fullback to an H-back to a tight end standpoint for us. So very versatile piece for us.
All right, we're going to take a break. We'll be right back here on the Todd Bowles Show. Welcome back into the Todd Bowles Show. Casey Phillips here with head coach Todd Bowles. I know the run game is always something that this defense tends to pride itself on. 164 rushing yards for them. We knew that their two-headed monster is definitely a rough thing to go against. What did you not like about the run game and just the challenges of facing someone especially like Gibbs?
Well, it was really just the one play. The one play went for 78 yards. That puts you over 100 right there. We misfitted. We had it gapped out. Everybody had a one-gap defense. We got to play it better. We had a young guy in there. He misfit the play, and we got to play it better. Other than that, they did a good job in the run game for the most part. But the one play you can't take back with 78 yards.
What have you seen of the challenges this season overall, and then this game in particular, of facing running backs when it comes to the screen game, them out in space a little bit? What are the ways that you'd like to see a little more from your defense in that area?
Got to take better angles. It's all fundamental in technique. When we play it the right way, we make the play. When we don't play it the right way, we get overly aggressive, trying to run over the top, and they cut back on us. We miss tackles, and we missed tackles in the first drive.
What's the challenge of when it is missing tackles, when that's not something you really get to practice a whole lot in terms of actually live tackling? What are the ways that you guys try to make improvements in that area when that is something struggling?
Well, we try to get to the ball, make sure the effort's there. We practice fundamentals and bags all you want, but in the game you really have to make plays, and you got to be dialed in. You got to have body position, you got to have body control, you got to have your head up, and you got to hit and wrap.
I know that we knew that Gibbs and then Amon-Ra St. Brown were going to be, their top 2 guys that they go to, very talented people. What did you see from Amon-Ra St. Brown, especially in that first half, and then the difference of being able to limit him more in the second half?
Oh, we fell down on the touchdown. That was one of the plays we fell down on. If you take away that, you kind of limited him okay, and it wasn't that much of a factor. So we played decent football when we didn't step on our own foot.
It did seem like there were a few times that the footing wasn't quite there for the guys. Was there something turf-wise, or was it just kind of a few individual circumstances?
Individual circumstances.
How about some of the other struggles of chunk plays? I know that Amon-Ra St. Brown had the 27-yard touchdown, and then he had a 24, 16, and a 12. What did you notice about some of those individual plays, and what could have gone a little better?
27-yard or 24-yard, one of the two, we didn't even take him. We had a guy on him. The guy didn't take him, so he was wide open, and he ran down the field. The other two, again, were missed tackles. Missed tackles, and when you miss tackles against a guy like that, he's going to burn you, and he did.
I know that you guys held them to 3 of 13 on third down, which is only 23.1%. That is the lowest third down conversion percent for them this season. What did you guys think you did really well there?
Tried to take away St. Brown. Really tried to take away St. Brown. He was their first look. We had some pressures dialed up a little bit for golf that we got home with, and they did a good job disguising.
I know Tykee Smith had a team leading 13 tackles, which, you know, whenever it's a DB leading the team in tackles, we can talk about whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. But 13 tackles for him, 2 tackles for loss, and a sack. How impressive was his game overall from what he ended up being asked to do and some of the plays he made?
Tykee's tough. He's a linebacker on the safety's body and the nickel body, but he plays the run. We ask our strong safety to do a lot, and we put him down in the box, and he becomes an extra backer. So him having 13 tackles is not a surprise because he can make those plays, and he did.
And then I know he's one of only 2 defensive backs with 10-plus tackles, a sack, and multiple tackles for loss in a single game this season. You kind of mentioned the way that you use him, but him getting tackles for loss on such a consistent basis, it feels like such a specialty for him this year. What do you feel like it is about his skills and then the way that you like to use him that have added up to that particular stat being something he's getting a lot of?
Very instinctive football player, knows how to play the game, studies it well, tough competitor. When he's in there, he'll go up against anybody, as you saw against San Francisco the week beforehand, but very smart, very tough, has a nose for the football, and he makes plays.
And how about Servacier's game? He had the next highest on the team in tackles with 12. He also had a sack. What did you see from his game overall, and then especially that sack and what went so well?
Well, once he settled down, he got over-aggressive in the first series and missed a tackle or 2 as well. But he got back to the quarterback very well. He avoided the block on the running back, got back to the quarterback well. Again, it's just the open field stuff. He's got to play the back hip and go inside out.
I know you said we don't know yet Hassan's health situation, waiting on the MRIs to come back. What did you see from his game before he got hurt?
He was helping us. He had a player or 2 he'd like to have back, but you know, he held up good in the run game. They tried to run it that way. They didn't get anything going from there, and we was just close to a couple sacks that he got to close on.
If he does miss time, who are the guys that you really see needing to step up, and how do you try to fill a hole like that Hassan has?
Well, Nelly and Braz has played, and those 2 guys have to step up. We have full confidence in them because they've played the last 2 years.
All right, we're going to take another break. We'll be right back on the Todd Bowles Show. Welcome back into the Todd Bowles Show. Casey Phillips here with head coach Todd Bowles. Yaya, 2 tackles for loss and a sack, forced fumble. It really feels like he's kind of turned a page in a corner of amping it up a little bit in these last couple weeks.
He's starting to come around. You know, he keeps working. He's getting off blocks. He's using this counter move now. Early on, he was just using one move and he was staying with it, but he's using this counter once it doesn't work, and he's coming back the other way, and it's paying off for him.
Which of his plays really stands out to you from that game as being something that you were really excited to see in the moment for what it means for him?
Really the sack fumble. You know, usually he just gets sacks and he doesn't go for the ball. We've been trying to get him to go for the ball for the longest, tell him it counts just the same. So for him to get the sack fumble, that was good.
And then I know that you guys now rank tied for 2nd in the NFL with 3 strip sacks this season. And since you got here in 2019, you guys lead the NFL with 49. That's 5 more than any other team during that span. Clearly, that's something that you're trying to emphasize. And why do you think that is something your team has been so good at throughout the entire tenure of you being here?
Need turnovers. We try to practice it all the time, especially in the summer. Those guys carry it over. They understand the importance of giving the offense the ball back, and they carry it out.
You mentioned with Hassan potentially going down, Anthony Nelson being one of the people who would have to step up. He got his first sack of the season. What did you like about that play?
Just effort. Nelly gives great effort. He cut him off for the contain on the bootleg, then he fell back in and made the play, and he makes those kind of plays all the time.
What are the things about him that we don't always know to appreciate if he's not making a play like that, you know, we give Yaya a lot of attention, Hassan a lot of attention? What is it about Anthony that fans might not know?
Solid, extremely smart. He's very reliable. He never gets fooled on a bootleg. He's a lot stronger than you think. He's a lot quicker than you think. He's not our most athletic guy, but he's a very good athlete, and you know, he does this Euro step every time he makes a play that he looks like he was a good basketball player on air, but Nelly's very smart. He's very heady. He's very reliable. he can play along the line of scrimmage, he can play in space, and he is always in the right place at the right time.
What did you think of the pressure you guys were able to get on Goff overall?
I thought we got some. I thought when there were times to get pressure, I thought we got some. We had 4 sacks. We could have gotten a few more, let him out the pocket once or twice, but when we got him in passing situations, I thought we got to him.
Jamel, another interception. He's now gotten 3 in 4 games. His third for the season, is tied for third most in the NFL so far. Just tell me the level that he's been playing at and what, especially these last few games, consistently getting these interceptions. What do you think has led to this point?
He's really been studying, and the game slowed down for him. He's really been locked in, understanding situations and playing the right technique. I think Coach Ross has done a great job preparing him every week, getting him out of practice early and going through little things that he uses in the game.
And what did he do well on that interception?
He read his keys. He sunk back. He was in the cloud cover similar to last week, and he saw a 3-level pass, and he showed up early, then he backed out late, and I don't even think he saw him, and he made a hell of a play.
What did you see from the rest of your secondary, and especially, seeing Morrison getting back in there, and you had Zion and Parrish both, so this was the closest to healthy you've been in that secondary in quite a while. So what did you notice from the rest of them?
Started out a little jumpy, had to calm them down. Once they calmed down, they played very good man coverage, and we still got to work on some tackling from an angle standpoint. We got to get that taken care of, but for the most part, they play solid ball on the back end. We just got to be consistent throughout, because one play for a DB is like 10 plays for anybody else.
All right, we're going to take one more break. We'll be back to look forward to that Saints game when we come back. Welcome back into the Todd Bowles Show. Casey Phillips here with head coach Todd Bowles. Time for our final segment. Let's get into that Saints game a bit. Is it better or worse to face a division opponent on a short week? You have more familiarity, which might help from a game planning standpoint, but it's also a more important game on some levels. So what are the feelings on that for you?
It's better to face anyone on a short week, especially after the loss, because you can try to get it behind you right away, and you got to go right to work, and you don't have time to drag it out. But the division opponent is the division opponent. They're the Saints, but they have a new coaching staff, so they have new schemes on both sides of the ball, so we really got to do our homework.
How about Spencer Rattler? What have you seen about him to start this season as compared to maybe facing him in the past and his role on that offense?
Well, we faced him as a rookie. He's a lot more confident now. He's really doing a lot with the football. He's using his legs a lot more. They have designed quarterback runs for him, and he's really spreading it out all over the field. So you can see the confidence he's playing with, and you can see how they open the offense up for him. And, he's making plays.
And what do you see from Alvin Kamara and just who he is at this point in his career, the way they like to use him?
He's exactly the same. I mean, he's elusive, he's quick, he's got a lot of power, he's got a lot of speed. He's going to remind you a little bit of Gibbs from last week, so that's not good news for us. So we got to make sure we gang tackle.
When you face a player like that is a little similar to someone recently, does that help to go back-to-back weeks facing someone that can have a similar challenge?
Never helps facing talent like that. You always want the slow guys. So when you face talent like that, you got to be very disciplined, and we got to be on our P's and Q's.
Well, if you want to face the slow guys, Chris Olave not going to help on that front. What have you seen from how he's developed and grown into such a weapon for them?
Came back and he's playing really well. Him and Shaheed are both playing really well on the outside. They're putting them all over the field, moving them around. He's running all the routes, and when he catches it, he knows what to do with it. So he has a lot of yak yards after the catch. I
know defensive end Carl Granderson's leading the team in sacks and tackles for loss. What kind of a challenge does he present up front?
Tough, physical, hard-nosed, as they always have been, so it's going to be a tough challenge for us.
And then, of course, Demario Davis, a guy that's been solid for quite a while. He's leading them in tackles per usual. So what are his biggest strengths and the things that are hard to face about him?
3-down backer. He's a heck of a blitzer. He's a heck of a sideline-to-sideline linebacker as well, and he can cover. So he's a 3-down backer. He has the whole gamut. He plays everywhere. He moves everywhere. He's the leader of their defense, and you got to know where he is on the field.
Why do you think their record is maybe deceiving of their talent and ability, to make sure you don't kind of the team doesn't just see the record and overlook them?
Can't see the record. You can see the talent. The talent's there. They have a new staff, so they're getting their feet wet and they're getting grounded every week. And you can see when you come in this league, you got to play every week or you're going to get beat.
Well, Coach, thank you so much as always for your time, and good luck this next week.
Thank you.